We have some bad news for Donald Trump here. A new set of polls was released, and he is dropping like a rock. I mean, it's a nosedive. He's absolutely plummeting. So I had him actually at a favorite to win the election at one point very recently, and that was actually based on the polls at the time. So there was a brief period of time where Donald Trump was actually beating Hillary Clinton in the average of polls on Real Clear Politics. That's when I had him at the favorite, when the numbers showed him being the favorite. Now, even a little past that, I had him at the favorite too. So some new polls came out, and then he ended up dropping to being down like 1.4 percentage points to Hillary. But I still had him as the favorite because I honestly think he's running a much better campaign, as preposterous as that sounds, compared to Hillary Clinton. Hillary's going with the, be a standard politician routine, and I don't think it's the time for that. I think the American people want anything but a standard politician. So she's doing her cliches and her platitudes, and let's break down the barriers and hold hands and love each other. And I don't think that's resonating, so I still had him at the favorite. Today that changes. He's no longer the favorite. He's no longer the favorite because of the numbers. So you guys know, for me, facts come before everything else. Numbers come before everything else. And now it's undeniable. And we can discuss what we think led to the numbers shifting this much, but there's no denying that the numbers have shifted. So a CBS poll asked people about the response to the Orlando attack from Hillary Clinton, President Obama, and Donald Trump. So they all came out, they all gave speeches, and CBS asked some people, hey, what do you think of it? Who did a good job? Who did a bad job? Why not? Let me give you the numbers on that. Obama, 44% approve of his response, 34% disapprove. So now you might say 44%, that's a low number that approve, but for a president, it's almost like, you're never going to get above like 53%, 55%. Like, it's impossible to get above that. But that's plus 10. So he's plus 10 because approve is 44%, disapprove is 34%. Plus 10 is not bad at all. All right, Hillary Clinton, 36% approve, 34% disapprove. So she's plus 2. That's really, it's not good, but it's certainly not bad. As long as you're in that plus range, it is what it is. Donald Trump's response, 25% approve, 51% disapprove. That's negative 26. So people looked at his speech and they were like, dude. Now, I actually don't know what my response is to that, because typically and historically, whenever there's a terror attack, and that is what this was, it was both a mass shooting and a terror attack, that helps right-wingers. That's not just the case in the United States. That's honestly the case in every country. Whenever there's an attack, everybody runs to their right wing because their right wing, everybody's right wing portrays themselves as the tough guy and the ones who are going to crack down and the ones who are going to protect the homeland, man. So attacks always help right-wingers. I didn't think it would be any different this time around. But for whatever reason, this time when Donald Trump went out there and he gave a speech on this attack, people just went, oh, no, I don't like this. Now the reality show clown is looking like a reality show clown. And you know what it is? It may be the fact that, this may be one of many reasons why, but it may be the fact that, like, he literally appeared to gloat over the attack. On Twitter, for example, he said, people are congratulating me over the attack. Who says that? I mean, that's an absurd thing to say. He said, I don't want congrats, though. I want to make America safe again or great again, whatever the fuck he said. But he said, people are congratulating me. Over a terror attack? And then when he gave the speech, it's almost like he was like, yes, eager. He was eager to get out there and say, yes, no, it's bad, and radical Islam is terrible, and let me talk about this. And so, you know what it reminded me of a little bit? When the situation unfolded in Benghazi that Obama and Hillary Clinton got blamed for. I don't know if you guys remember, but that was during the race in 2012. Mitt Romney came out when we got the information on it, like immediately, before Obama even came out and said anything. And he gave a speech blaming the administration and pointing fingers and saying how terrible and stupid they are and all this stuff. And then what happened? He tanked in the numbers too. Because you know what it is? It it doesn't come across. It didn't come across when Mitt Romney did it, and apparently didn't come across this time when Donald Trump did it. It didn't come across as a human being who is genuinely concerned about the country, who wants to protect the people, and who wants to get to the bottom of this and find solutions. It comes across as somebody taking political advantage of a tragedy. So Romney came out and he was like, oh, a lot of bad questions about this. What did Hillary Clinton do wrong? What did Obama do wrong? And people apparently responded with, dude, too soon. Too soon for you to point fingers at our leaders like it's their fault. And you're not even acting like you want to find solutions. You just want to point fingers and say, see, this should help me because they're bad. That's what Romney did. It hurt him. That's what Trump did. It hurt him. Now, again, historically, attacks help right-wingers. But I guess the right-winger needs to, if anything, just don't say shit. Lay back and let it be, and then let people draw their own conclusions where they'll go, oh, Obama is in office right now, and this attack happened under Obama, therefore we got to go to the Republicans and vote for them because then maybe it wouldn't happen under them. But when you come out and you're like gleeful over it, as Romney was and as Donald Trump was, to make it about him, I guess people went, ugh, dude, that is just beyond tasteless. And I'll admit it is hilarious that it takes something like this before people go, oh, I guess Donald Trump is tasteless. Like, everything he's done every step of the way has been tasteless, and people like that about him, but I guess this was just one step too far. So that's just one example. I got more for you. A new Bloomberg poll. Trump versus Hillary in the general election. Trump is at 37%. Hillary is at 48%. Over a 10-point lead? That's pretty devastating, especially since 2 weeks ago, it was Donald Trump who was up in some polls by 3 percentage points. So now that flipped, and more than just flipped, now she's winning. That's a solid margin of victory, man. That is. All right, now I saved my favorite for last. Donald Trump, as I'm sure many of you know, he just turned 70 years old. Well, according to a Washington Post ABC News poll, he also hit 70% unfavorability. 70%. Now, look, I've made the argument before that high unfavorables doesn't mean that people won't vote for you. And I largely think that's true. People don't have to like you to think you'll get the job done, so they'll vote for you. But is there a threshold where if you go over a certain number, you're really running the risk of hurting the number of votes you'll get? Yes, I think so. So I think when you're, like, there was a time when Trump was at 60% unfavorable and Hillary was at 56% unfavorable, 55% unfavorable. And it's like, that's kind of a wash. Because, again, that's not a direct correlation between who will vote and who won't vote. But when you're at 70% unfavorable, that means only 30% of the people in the country like you. I mean, even if you get 10% of people who don't like you, who will hold their nose and go vote for you, that's still not enough to win a general election. So at a certain point, your unfavorables are going to hurt you. Now, you guys are probably rightly thinking, well, what are Hillary's unfavorables? Because hers are always high too. That's true. But hers are still 55%. So Hillary's 55%, Donald Trump's 70%. Yeah, no, it's not. He's no longer the favorite. He's no longer the favorite. Now, there is an asterisk to end this conversation with here. That doesn't mean that Hillary gets to, be cocky, and that doesn't mean that she gets to be arrogant, which she already is, and think like, no, it's over, of course I'm going to win, and then you waltz into the end zone. I guarantee you, hear me now, quote me later, this race will continue to fluctuate. So you're going to continue to there are going to be times when he surges back and he's just a little bit down, times when he's a lot down. We may even get to another point where he's up in the polls. So it's going to fluctuate, man. It's going to fluctuate. This is not set in stone. But as of right now, he was the favorite. Now the numbers show, you got to keep it real, he is no longer the favorite, even though I still fear as to how Hillary Clinton will run a general election campaign. I just don't think she's good at campaigning. And I think he's actually a lot better at campaigning than people give him credit for. So it's up in the air still, but she's definitely the favorite now. And remember, guys, there's some very logical reasons also why she has this bump in the polls now. So the media called it over and said Bernie Sanders is done. Now, again, he's technically not done if you're really specific about the rules and how this works. So you need 2,383 delegates in order to clinch the nomination, in the sense that the convention can't be contested. Hillary does not have that. She needs superdelegates to get to that number, and the superdelegates don't vote until the convention. So it's not over. So let's understand that. But it's 99 to 99.9% certain, unless there's some sort of an indictment or something of Hillary, that it is going to be over. But with the media calling it totally over, that means that a majority of the Bernie supporters, so certainly over 50%, have gone, yeah, okay, whatever, I'll hold my nose and vote for Hillary, even though she wasn't my first choice. So that's one reason why now she's had this bump up in the polls. And then also, again, I think the other reason has to do with Donald Trump. And this was made a huge story by the media, more than I even initially realized, because I covered a part of the story. But Donald Trump went on Fox and Friends recently and insinuated that President Obama is pro-ISIS. It's hilarious to even say, but he went on there and basically made the Trojan horse Manchurian candidate argument, like, oh, either Obama's incompetent and he doesn't know what's happening, or he knows what's happening better than anybody else, if you know what I'm saying. So the media took that, and they actually did their job in the sense that they hammered away on that. And like, are you fucking stupid? Are you saying the president of the United States is in favor of jihad? And when all the media hammered away, I think even anybody who's not like a right-wing radio listening idiot went, yeah, that's too far. That's a little too far there, buddy. You have to be like a fucking Rush Limbaugh fan or a Michael Savage fan to go, yeah! So everybody else, even Republicans who me and you would disagree with on everything else, even they went, come on, dude, that's too far. So that may be another thing that hurt him here. But it's hilarious that of all the things that hurt him, because it actually is true. This is not something you're allowed to say in the mainstream media because, facts, that Obama and his White House, they have helped the rebels in Syria. The rebels in Syria include ISIS and al-Nusra. Al-Nusra is Al-Qaeda in Syria. They've also helped the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, who were supposed to be the more moderate rebels, but as of right now, there's virtually no moderate rebels left. They're all Islamists and jihadists. And they're so anti-Assad, the Shia Alawite government in Syria, and they're anti-Assad and the Syrian government because they're aligned with Russia and Iran, that we have these strange bedfellows where we're like, we'll look the other way and arm Islamists and jihadists again. So it's actually kind of true that Obama and his White House have supported, these Islamists and jihadists. And for fuck's sake, Saudi Arabia, they have the same ideology as ISIS. They're ISIS that made it. I mean, they fucking kill people because they're gay, and they say all atheists are terrorists, and they have beheadings in the public square, and they think sorcery and witchcraft is something they put people to death for. I mean, they are governed by Sharia. So yeah, we actually do support some of the worst in ultra-conservative Islam. And when Trump insinuates, hey, maybe we support those people go, oh, that's too much, even though that's totally true. But the thing is, when Trump says it, Trump doesn't mean it in the way I mean it. Of course, in the way I mean it, it's just true that we support Saudi Arabia, a Wahhabi government. We support the rebels in Syria, who are these kinds of people. Trump means it in the sense that Obama's like, Mwahaha, and fucking like arming ISIS and helping them in the country and going, when will you attack? Mwahaha. No, that's conspiratorial bullshit. There's there's an element of truth in it, but the element of truth is what I was discussing. Trump means it in the Alex Jonesy kind of way, and that's stupid, and people go, yeah, you went too far there on that one.